yogis, welcome to week 5, day 5 of our Build Balance Momentum program. Today's posture is a really intense back bending posture, also known as bow pose. So we haven't been introduced to this pose in our practices yet, so we're going to be really working on opening up through the chest and the front body and getting and kind of warming up our spines for this deep back bend in our practice today. So just remember, I want to reiterate that if you have any type of spinal problems or scoliosis or anything like that, this may not be the best practice for you, and feel free to, you're encouraged to discuss with your doctor before doing this type of pose and these types of bends within your yoga practice. So if at any point you feel uncomfortable, even if you don't have a specific injury or problem with your spine, feel free to always rest in child's pose or downward facing dog, because we never want to push our bodies past their limits for the sake of a yoga posture. We want our practice to feel good and to make our bodies feel good. So if at any point you feel pain in the body or anything like that, I encourage you to stop what you're doing and take a breather in downward facing dog or child's pose, and maybe that's the end of your practice for the day, or maybe you decide to do a different practice. So just wanted to point that out there. So before we begin, feel free to grab, we'll be using a strap today. It's not necessary, but it'll kind of help you get deeper into the posture. So yeah, let's dive on in. We're going to be starting out in child's pose today. So big toes together, knees a little bit open, and let's just walk our frontal lobes towards the mat, and we'll walk our hands down. And just have a few deep breaths. Really relax the body into your mat. And turn your attention inward to your breath. Take note of how you're feeling. Set an intention for the practice if you would like. And just remember to have patience with your body throughout this process in today's practice. Let's do a deep breath. And then audible exhale out. Deep breath in. Hold at the top. And audible exhale out. Let's do one more deep breath in. Hold at the top. And exhale out. And return to your natural breathing. And we're going to come into tabletop posture today. So kind of grip your mat with your hands and use it to kind of claw the mat and pull yourself up into tabletop posture. So hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, neutral spine. We're going to inhale into cow pose. So inhale, let's drop our chest towards the mat as we bring our gaze forward. And then exhale, push the mat away as we round out the spine, tucking the chin in towards our chest. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose, rounding out that upper back. Let's do 2 more of these. Inhale, exhale. Really think about puffing through the back like you're reaching your back towards the ceiling. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Let's return to neutral tabletop. This time we're gonna take our left leg and we're gonna crunch that knee in towards your elbow as you inhale it back up. And let's do a glute kick at the top. So kick that glute towards the ceiling. And then exhale, round up the spine, tuck that knee towards the elbow. And inhale back up, rounding up the spine. Bringing your chest towards the mat and doing a glute kick. Inhale, or I should say exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale back up, glute kick at the top. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale back up, glute kick. Let's actually do one more. So inhale, we're still rounding up the spine, just like cat pose as we tuck our knee in towards our elbow. And then round out, glute kick at the top. This time swing your hip out and over and drop that foot to the other side. We're gonna keep our left hand on the mat and we're just gonna inhale our right hand up and over, bending towards the left side. So you'll feel it in your inner hip again, just like yesterday's practice. And we're also bringing it, so getting a nice stretch through our lateral side body of our right side. 2 deep breaths. And release that hand to the mat, bringing that left leg in, and we'll do the glute kicks on the other side. So let's do an inhale here. Exhale, let's tuck that knee towards the right elbow. And let's round out, push the mat away as you do that, round out through the spine. And inhale, pulling that chest towards the mat. So we're getting nice spinal rounding here. Let's glute kick at the top. Kick that glute up towards the ceiling. Exhale, spine around, knee to elbow. Inhale, pulling our chest through our biceps. Kick that glute up to the ceiling. Exhale. Inhale. Glute kick. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Glute kick. One more. Exhale. Tucking that chin towards our chest. Inhale. Glute kick. And now let's open up that hip and drop that leg to the outside. Keeping that right hand where it is. Inhaling that left arm up. And lateral bend to the left side. Then let's stretch through the inner thighs, through this nice left side body here. 2 deep breaths. And release. Hands to the mat. Bring our hands out wide, bring that knee back down. We're going to come up into downward facing dog. So tuck those toes, pop up, send those hip bones back into downward facing dog. Breathe through the posture. Pedal up those legs if you need to. We are going to inhale or ground through that right foot as we inhale our left foot up and back. We're going to pivot on that right foot so we come up onto like the outer edge into a side plank here. Bend that left knee, kind of come up into a side plank. Maybe you stay here, maybe you use your hand to open up that hip. Or maybe you grab that big toe and you can either bring it down to the mat to grab it or kind of grab it in the midair and see if you can swing it up, stretch out that leg, and then come into a side plank, big toe hold. Only go as far as you can. You see my hips aren't very open, so I can't bring it all the way up to the ceiling. But if this is too uncomfortable, feel free to rest here. Maybe just do this. You can also just do this. Whatever is most comfortable for you. So you can just breathe through this posture. or you can come up into the big toe hold. 3, 2, 1. Release that leg to the front of the mat. Drop that knee down. We're going to come into a low lunge. So think about sinking those hip bones down towards the mat. We're going to inhale. Bring our arms, cactus those arms, fingers wide and active. Squeezing your shoulder blades together, getting a stretch through the spine, opening up that chest. Exhale, sink our chest towards our knee. Bring our hands and elbows together towards our legs. We're going to inhale back up, pulling our shoulder blades together, elbows coming towards each other, still sinking into that hip. And then exhale. Inhale, back up, cactusing those arms, squeeze, 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 and exhale. Back down, place your hands on the mat, tuck those back toes under, lift that knee, kind of give a nice rock so you can kind of plop yourself up, bringing that leg forward, and coming into a nice forward fold. Maybe bend those legs if you need to. Release into the posture. Now let's just let our head hang heavy here. And we're going to slowly roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. So keep your head heavy till you get to the top. So imagine starting with your lower back. So you're kind of engaging your core here, engaging that TVA, that transverse abdominis, that kind of like wraps around like a corset, those inner deep ab muscles. So engage those abs, keep that head hanging heavy, slight micro bend in the knees, and imagine pulling from the lower back, vertebrae by vertebrae, rolling yourself up, slow and controlled. We're just awakening the spine. Keep your head hanging high, heavy till the very end. Lift it. Let's roll back down. Start with the head. Now drop that chin in towards your chest. Slowly lean, 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 vertebrae by vertebrae. Still keeping that slight micro bend in the knees. Gonna roll down, arms just hanging. And do it again. Roll back up. Feel like it's pulling from the lower vertebrae first. Rolling, glutes engaged. Rolling vertebrae by vertebrae back up till we get to the top, and we release our head. We're gonna inhale. This time, grab a block if you can. Put it between your thighs and squeeze it. Squeeze it with your thighs. This is how we want to engage our thighs and think. We want to be squeezing our thighs together in bow pose, so we're going to kind of learn that activation now. So squeeze it as you come up into chair pose. Think about squeezing those quads together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release back up. Quads still active. Inhale, let's drop our booty like we're about to sit in a chair as we come into chair pose. Squeezing, engaging those glutes. This time releasing our hands to the mat. Feel free to put that block in front of you if you want. Step that right foot back just a little bit. Maybe you hold on to the block, or maybe you bring your hand to the mat. Whichever's most comfortable, fingertips on the mat. We're going to inhale our left foot back and up and open up the hip. Open up at the hip into that half moon pose that we learned yesterday. Inhale that arm up and over, gaze forward. Breathe. Again, use the block if you need to. See if you can bend that back knee. Maybe grab it with your left hand. Open, pulling that knee towards the back part of the mat. Opening up through the pelvis, through the hips. Opening up through the chest, pulling your left shoulder up and back. Gaze high now. Feel that nice stretch. Good. 3, 2, 1. Release your foot back. Bend that front leg as you drop that leg towards the mat. Let's grab your block and walk your hands over to the other side. Come back into downward facing dog. Deep breath. Ground through that left foot now. As you inhale your right foot up and back. Pivot onto the outer edge of that left foot and bring your weight forward. Maybe you walk your hands a little bit so your wrists are under your shoulders. Open up that hip. Release that right hand. Maybe you use it to push open that hip. Maybe you grab your big toe with your right hand. And open up that leg. Getting a nice hamstring stretch. Don't let your hips sink. Push them away from the mat. If that's too much, you can stay here. Or again, stay here. Pushing, not sinking into the shoulder. Pushing the mat away. Strong, engaged shoulders. You can use a strap too if you need to, but we're not hanging out here too long, so that's why I'm not kind of showing you how to use it. Let's swing that leg now to the front of the mat. Dropping the back knee, untucking those toes. Inhale, cactus your arms. Squeezing those shoulder blades, dropping those elbows like they're coming towards each other. Inhale, pivot on the hips. Bring those arms towards the legs. Or I should say exhale. Inhale now. Sinking into your hips. Squeezing those shoulder blades. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, squeeze. Thinking about opening up those hips at the same time. Squeezing those shoulder blades. Then exhale, forward fold. Place those hands on the mat. Tuck those toes under. Lift up that knee. Rock. So we can bring our leg to meet the other leg. Pop up. This time, let's grab opposite elbows and kind of just rock here a moment. Sway back and forth. Feel it in your hamstrings. Take note of any tension that might be in your legs. Now keeping our elbows, let's kind of do the spinal rolls up again. But we're going to keep our elbows holding opposite elbows. So head hangs heavy, arms are dangling. Engage your core. Feel like you're starting with the lower vertebrae and slowly vertebrae by vertebrae roll up. Keeping that nice micro bend in the knees. Head hangs heavy. And up. Drop that chin in towards your chest. Slowly roll down. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Nice micro bend. This time grab our block. Put it between our thighs again. This time I'm putting it, before I had it kind of like this, now I'm going to put it like this. And we're going to inhale up into chair pose. Squeeze, squeeze, squeezing those thighs together. Shoulders still relaxed. Exhale up. Inhale, drop that booty. Inhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release, dropping that block to the mat. You can use it to place your hand, or you can place your left hand on the mat in front of you. Step that left foot back just a little bit. Inhale that right foot up. Open up that hip, flexing that foot into half moon, bringing that right arm towards the ceiling. Breathe, find your balance. It's okay to be a little wobbly. Maybe you bend that knee now. Grab that ankle. Forgot to mention to flex this foot to kind of protect your ankle. Let's open, pull that knee back, opening up that hip, opening up through the right shoulder as well to bring your gaze forward or bring your gaze up. And breathe through the stretch. For 3, 2, 1. Let's release that leg. Bend that front knee. Drop that foot towards the mat. Release your hands to the mat. And sink into a wide forward fold. Nice hamstring stretch. Maybe some gentle sways. And we're going to come into a kneeling posture on our mat. Sending our booty back. We're going to inhale, rise up into high knee. Palms in prayer. Open up, pushing the hips forward and opening up the thoracic spine. Or I should say opening up through the chest while you're bending through the thoracic spine is a better cue. And release back. Now put your hands on kind of your rib cage, like below your boobs, below your pectoral area. Kind of push that pelvis forward, so keeping it above the knees, so not like super forward where you're leaning, but just above the knees. Think we're gonna kind of do like a 3-way bend. So start, kind of bend the upper back kind of right where your thumbs are. See if you can like bend it back, then drop it just a little lower, bend from that region, and drop it a little lower, bend from that region. Return to center, bring your arms up. See if you can bend from that region, drop them just a little lower, bend from that region of your spine, drop it a little more, bend from that region of your spine. Just trying to find engagement where our spine is moving. Bring it back up, drop it. It's kind of upper spine. Drop it a little lower, and then drop it even lower. This time, maybe you reach back, touch your heels. At this point, if you want to grab your blocks, feel free to do so. Place them on the outer edge of your ankles. We're coming into camel pose. So you can either grab your heels with your hands, open up through the chest, pulling those shoulder blades together, or you can rest your hands on your blocks, opening them up as well. What we don't want to see is us leaning, thinking we have it while touching our heels, because this is a good quad burner. That's not the point of the pose. We want to think about pushing those hips up so they're over our knees. And so that's where using the blocks can come in handy in this posture. So let's just breathe through this posture. This is basically the upright version of bow pose right here. So I encourage you, if you have it in you, to try to reach for your heels, opening up through the chest. Breathe. 3 more deep breaths. 3, 2, and 1. And slowly release back up, dropping your heels towards the mat, or your butt towards the mat. Removing your blocks. And we're going to kind of come back up into plank and slowly lower down and get ready for cobra. So untuck those toes, press the bottoms or the tops of your feet into the mat. Hands are under your shoulders. Head is hanging heavy. We're gonna think about pulling our shoulders, like leading with the back. So don't engage your hands, don't push the mat away. We wanna think about engaging, using our back first before we push any pressure into the mat with our hands. So inhale, lead with the shoulders and upper back. And then engage the hands as you push the mat away. And slowly release down. Head hangs heavy. Inhale up. Bring your gaze forward at the top. Exhale down. Keeping those backs of the feet on the mat, pushing into it. Inhale up. Bring up. This time, bend that left knee. See if you can reach, release, bend that right knee. Release, exhale down. This time, bend those knees first. Inhale up, glute kick. So think about, so we're gonna be lifting the quads, the thighs off the mat here. And we're gonna do pulses. So feet flexed, so our toes are towards our shins. We think about engaging the quads, pulling the quads towards each other, so squeezing those thighs together like we're doing with our block and chair pose. So squeezing those thighs together and just kick those up. But we're also doing it at the top of our ranging cobra. So with those feet flexed, push up into cobra until you can really feel it, and then glute kick up towards the ceiling. Keep those knees towards each other. These are just light pulses, nothing too crazy. And release, back down. Push up onto your knees. Let's come into child's pose. Just a moment. Let's widen out those legs. Come into child's pose to give the spine a little rest before we come into bow pose. Couple deep breaths. And inhale back up. Dropping just towards the mat again. This time you can grab your strap if you'd like. Kind of make a nice little loop here. See if you can wrap it around your feet. I like to put it around my ankles. So in bow pose, we're not doing the full bow pose where our hands are like overhead. We're doing it where it's like, you want to be, I'll show you without using the block, or without using the strap, even though it's around my ankles right now. But so bow pose is where you grab onto the ankles, flex those feet to protect those ankles, and use the momentum of pulling your chest up and your legs up to come into the pose. So we want to think about relaxing our lower back when we do this. So we're not like clenching the lower back. We're kind of letting the momentum of pulling our arms up and our legs towards each other to get this full pose. So if you can't quite do that, we can use our strap to kind of inhale and kind of pull up towards each other. So this is kind of uncomfortable because normally in this pose we don't have our feet together. But this is just one way to get comfortable in the pose and allow you to kind of rock here without being, so maybe your legs are back here. So this is how using a strap is helpful. It kind of gives you the motion, makes it feel like you're in the pose, even though you can't quite reach your feet. So for those of you that can reach your feet, we're gonna remove our strap. And if you still need the strap, then feel free to keep it there. But we're gonna grab our ankles, if you can, so bend those feet towards your glutes. We're gonna deep inhale, and then exhale. Flex those feet towards each other. Inhale your chest up, inhale your knees off the mat. Think about engaging the glutes, relaxing the lower back. Gaze forward, squeezing those knees towards each other. And then release. And we're going to do one more. Inhale up. Squeeze everything active. And release. Just relax, release your legs. Just kind of rest a moment, let your back relax. Good, and we're gonna just flip onto our backs. We're gonna keep our knees bent and our feet, we're gonna bring our feet wide, kind of wide on the mat. Let's kind of hug our shoulders. So try to reach the opposite shoulder blade. So cross your hands, reach the opposite shoulder blade. Let's give our shoulders a nice hug, like we're giving ourselves a hug here. Let your knees hang in. Just give yourself a nice hug for that great back bend you just did. We're just doing a neutral posture. Since it is such a strong back bend, we're just neutralizing the spine now with something that doesn't, stretch it in either direction. Okay, so let's lift that left knee up. Let's drop that right knee in. And let's just alternate doing that. So now lift the right knee up and drop the left knee in. We're just gonna windshield wiper our knees. So feel that left tail or that right tailbone, like lift up the mat as you drop your right knee in, and then just kind of continue that on the other side, back and forth. Just nice, slow movements. Be nice and gentle on our spines. Then we're gonna outstretch our left leg, pushing that heel in towards the mat. And we're gonna take our strap and kind of shorten up the gap in the loop. And we're gonna hook that around our right foot. And we're just gonna let it hang there, and we're gonna bring our knee in towards our chest. Relaxing. Maybe if you're ready, you can grab that strap, lengthen out that leg up, still pushing through the left heel. So keep that left leg active and engaged. And let's see if we can just stretch our legs. So we're not trying to pull it towards us, like pull it towards this way. We're just trying to get it nice and straight up in the air. Get a nice hamstring stretch. Feel like your lower lumbar spine, your lower back pushing into the mat when you do this. Keep your core engaged. And just stretch through this posture. Maybe you lift your head towards the mat or off the mat and kind of crunch it in just a bit. Keeping your neck from straining. We're just kind of crunching it up, mostly using our core to do this. And release back down. Take your strap off your leg. Extend your right leg. Pull your left knee in towards your chest. Maybe give it a nice rock if you need to. Keep that heel and those foot flaps on your right foot, pushing that heel into the mat. Loop that strap around your left foot and extend it up. This time stretching the hamstring of your left leg. foot flexed here. You'll feel it in your hamstring. Feel it all the way up in the back. Just relax. Feel that lower back pushing into the mat. Now engage your abs, so squeeze, engage those abs. Gonna pull your head, your shoulders off the mat, and your head towards your leg. Again, not straining your neck, keeping it nice and relaxed. If this is too much, you can simply just stay rested. We're just getting a nice counter pose now, so bending the spine in the opposite direction. Two deep breaths here. Release back down, bend that knee. Remove your strap and push it off to the side. And let's bring both knees in for a nice knee to chest stretch. Maybe even tuck your chin in towards your knees. And release the head back down, keeping the knees tucked in towards your chest. Just gonna rock back and forth, side to side. Massage that spine. You can rock it front to back if you need to, but that's not as nice. I prefer the side to side rocking. You can even bring your toes or bring your feet up, grab the outer edges of your feet, pull those knees in towards your shoulder or towards your armpits, and come into happy baby pose and continue rocking side to side. Maybe rocking in a circle to get that lumbar spine a little massage. Back and forth. Slowly release your legs back down as we come into Shavasana. So I hope that wasn't too intense of a posture for you today. If it was, just keep building up to it. Do some of the prep postures such as camel pose. And once you feel a little more comfortable in those, bow pose will become a lot easier for you. So just move slowly. The spine isn't something you want to rush into things. You don't want to rush into back bends. You want to make sure you're good and warmed up. Allow your body to relax now. Maybe avoid back bends for the next few days if you're not accustomed to doing those movements. Let's return to our breath.